I didn't furnish my flat straight away when I moved in here. For the first 2 weeks, I didn't even have a table and chair to eat my food on. I would often sit on the side of my bed or sometimes just sit on the floor. And it wasn't because there was a delay in shipping, or it wasn't like I just didn't want a table. It was something different, and that was because I didn't want to rush. And that decision was surprisingly freeing. I had a lot of people down my neck saying, "Oh my God, have you got your flat furnished yet? What does your flat look like? Let me see your Pinterest reels and what you're going to do with your flat." There was a lot of pressure to just buy straight away, even though I just threw a load of money in buying the damn place first. Because for some reason we've picked up this idea that our home needs to be Instagram ready within like 48 hours of moving into a place. So if you're just renting or you've just bought a place, hopefully these tips will help you so that you don't feel the pressure to buy things that you actually don't even like. So number one is about the culture of rushed consumption. The thing is, I think people are genuinely trying to be nice if they keep asking you how your flat is going, is it fully furnished, and can they see pictures of the great things that you've done with your place. But rushing furnishing your place isn't about actually helping you out, it's actually a little bit of a performance. So if you feel the pressure to have matching dining room tables, matching bowls, all these candles bought in, okay, it's more just to show pictures to your friends and family to say, hey, what a great adult I am that I've already fully furnished my place. But if you don't have those things in place yet, that's totally okay. I didn't, okay? In fact, I've lived here for 2 years now and there's still not things on the wall. And that's because I haven't found pieces yet that I absolutely truly love. And I do not agree with just buying stuff for the sake of it, just so that someone can feel happier that I've got a picture on the wall, okay? So if you're feeling pressure to really have your place picture ready, you just need to step back a bit and understand where you are. Because if you've just forked out loads to rent that place or to buy it, you may have really, really low funds. In fact, you may have already even dipped into your emergency fund, which is really not good to then waste everything else in that pot of money to just spend on expensive furniture to make other people happy. Your emergency fund should be 3 to 6 months of living expenses, and if that has dwindled away a little bit because the solicitor was more expensive than you thought, or maybe you needed to get moving vans to move you guys in quicker than what you anticipated, it's really important to build up that emergency fund back to where it was before you buy expensive stuff again. Because especially if you own a place, there could be unforeseen maintenance things that may go on, which happened with me. So when I bought this place, within the first 2 weeks, I had this crazy plumbing issue where the flat above me and the flat below, all of our toilets overflowed because there was an issue with the piping downstairs. It was nothing to do with me, I didn't block the toilet or anything, okay? But it was something that I could never have foreseen, and of course I had to pay for an emergency plumber to come out, and that was about £450 from memory, which was an absolute killer. But because I knew how important it was to have an emergency fund, I still had a full pot of money there for things like this because they do happen, okay? Emergencies are outside of our control, but if you're spending all of your emergency pot just to get nice furniture, an expensive sofa, an expensive dining table, you are really doing yourself a massive disservice there. So try and close your ears to people talking about your furnishings and make sure you've got that pot of money always when you own a property. Number 2 is living in the in-between space. And what I actually realized here is that there's so much power in the pause. When I first moved in, I didn't really know how I was going to set up the room, to be honest. I didn't know where I was going to put a sofa, where I was going to put a dining table, how big they should be. It was all so confusing because it was a new space. So having that pause and not buying stuff straight away really kind of gave me the gift of, okay, how do I naturally use this space? Where do I naturally want to sit? Do I want to sit by the window here? Do I want to be closer to the door in the kitchen? It kind of gave me that time to just naturally feel things out. So instead of doing one big crazy rush to IKEA the very first day I moved in, I just waited it out. And what I did was I was looking on places like Facebook Marketplace, and I got things that were a lot better value and better materials. So for example, I got a stunning solid wood table that's like mid-century modern that I absolutely loved. And yes, it was vintage, and yes, it was probably way more expensive than an IKEA table, but I feckin' love this table. So every time I have breakfast here, every time I'm on my laptop prepping for YouTube videos, I always have a boost of joy when I sit there because I've always wanted to have a mid-century modern table. And to me, yes, it was worth the money to fork out, I think like £600 on it, which is killer, I know. But I know it's gonna last me years, and I know every time I look at it, it's really good quality and it makes me happy. And honestly, it just brings me so so much joy. So intentional spending is not about being an absolute cheapskate. It's about understanding what your true needs and wants are, and then to actually plan ahead and pursue those dreams of yours, okay? If you have the money to buy these things, yes, of course, go for it and do those things. This is why it's important to budget and always be prepared for the costs that are going to come ahead. So of course, have that emergency fund. Sometimes these IKEA things, don't get me wrong, IKEA is cool. I like some IKEA bits, right? But sometimes if you buy the cheaper materials, like it's wood chip, it might be plastic legs, it might scuff after a few months, they just don't last as long. So even if an IKEA table is £200 and it might last you a year or so before it starts to look really rough, but if you have to buy a new table every year or two, it's of course going to all add up. Whereas if you fork out something that you truly love with great materials, it could last me 10, 20 years, more. A lot of these tables are from the 60s because they're mid-century modern, right? And they're still standing to this day. So you could have it, well into your 50s and 60s if you truly took care of things. So it's just about changing your mindset with it. It's not that you're wasting money, but you're actually investing in something for the future as well. Number 3, why this approach is a big win. Here's the thing, not furnishing straight away is not just a budget hack, but it's actually a mindset hack, more importantly. It says things like, I don't need to perform for other people in my own home. It says also, I'm allowed to take up space without fully filling it up with stuff. And it also says that my home is a reflection of me and it's not a big mad race to the finish line. There's joy in the empty corners, in the room to grow, and in the quiet confidence of not buying stuff just because everyone else is. So if you just moved in and your home looks a little bit bare, no rug, no art, and maybe you're eating cereal with a teaspoon like I was in the first few weeks, you're not behind, so don't worry. Firstly, if you've bought your place, that's a massive achievement regardless. And if this is for you, if you just rented a place, that is still a massive leap forward in the life that you want to take. So you're just in the middle of building something really intentional for yourself. You're not behind. And that, of course, is something worth to be proud of. And remember that real homes and real life don't come together like that. We're not a Pinterest board, even though we'd hope to be, right? Wherever we feel comfortable in and whatever makes us happy is the most important here. And I really, really wish that people like yourselves don't throw all of your money into building a home so that it's Instagrammable, okay? Build up your savings, have that investment pot that you continuously put money into so that it compounds over time. So you can, of course, grow your wealth as well as having this asset right here that you just bought. And if you're renting, don't let anyone tell you that you're behind in life. Everyone's chapter is different, okay? And whatever chapter you're in now, hopefully it's the best one for you. And if you want to buy in the future, good on you, that's a great thing to do, but not everyone wants to buy. Some people just want to rent for their life, and that's totally cool too. You might want variety, you might want to move around, you might want to travel abroad, and that's such an amazing vision to have for your life. So don't let other people's thoughts darken how you want to live. You have to be authentic to who you are, okay? And sometimes you buy a place and you feel like, hey, maybe this wasn't the best idea. I'm just going to sell it and move on to the next step, because everything changes as you go through life. So just be authentic to yourself and just do whatever makes you happy. Don't listen to other people, okay? I did this video recently, which I really think will help you on your wealth journey also. So thanks a million. And if you're one of the people, the 80% who watch but don't subscribe, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. That'd really help the channel out, but no pressure. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.